just going to listen to the song for a while. Just enjoy this. You guys have some nice looking shirts, by the way. You got a lot of bright colors on you. Joe Reichel is in the studio. This is Damage Control, and here comes Rob Sobieski coming in the room. There.
Rob's in the room.
Follows him.
Rob's in the house.
And the phone lines are open if you have a question for Joe or Rob, and you want to know what you can do because there's a tree sticking through your roof, or something else may have happened. I shouldn't chuckle at that. That's just not funny, is it? The phone number here is the WOCA Climate Control Source Hotline, 622-WOCA. Good morning, Joe. Good morning, Rob.
Good morning. You were just talking
Larry.
about trees through the roof, and I was talking to Rosette Looney with Sonny's Barbecue and Catering, and she was telling me about the storm damage she had. And we were talking about it. I tried to get her to call in, and she didn't feel comfortable calling in to talk about it. But she went through the whole process, just like what we talk about.
Did you have an early breakfast or something? I mean, a late breakfast?
A late breakfast, yeah. But we were talking about how you go through, you get your insurance company involved, and go through taking care of all the damage and
what happened to her? A tree?
Just storm damage. It was more wind damage than anything else, and so. But she said that if we had a caller called in with a question or talk about something, she would give me 2 dinner tickets to Sonny's that we could give away. So.
Oh, okay. So is that who's the first caller?
Yeah, we'll take the first caller.
First caller with a question about damage.
Yeah.
And how to control it.
I'll call in.
2 tickets for Sonny's.
Sounds good.
All
yeah,
right.
2 dinner tickets from Sonny's.
I didn't know Sonny's had breakfast.
I don't think they have breakfast, but well, maybe.
Leftovers.
If you like pulled pork for breakfast.
There was a lot of, speaking of trees and damage, a lot from that snowstorm. The Northeast has had their share, haven't they? This winter. Just lots of it.
Seen some pictures recently from friends that live up in that area. And
Is
it's
that
been
right?
pretty bad, yeah. Had one friend said it took 2.5 hours to drive 26 miles on Long Island, coming home from work.
Wow.
That blizzard that was up there, I guess, last Friday.
Wow. You drove home, what, from the city? Out to Long Island? Yeah?
Yes.
That's probably not so unusual.
Yeah, that's
from the city.
Quite a crazy drive.
Every once in a while you hear of snow falling on a mall or someplace with a very flat roof, and the weight just causes it to cave in, right?
Right.
When you get a job like that, I mean, it's almost as if, I'm guessing, you say, it wouldn't have happened if you had it built differently. So do you rebuild it differently, knowing that it could happen again?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah?
Yeah, you take those failures into consideration. Of course, we don't have the snow load damages here, but there was one
wind would be something for
a couple of years ago here. There was one that it was a flat roof, and the drains clogged up.
Oh.
It was actually during one of the hailstorms we had, and the drains clogged up with ice.
Oh, wow.
And the weight of the water on the roof collapsed the roof in. It was an insurance company, and it just flooded everything inside the building. And so when it has to be rebuilt, they have to take that into consideration. Okay, now if it does do this again,
well, hopefully they had
a stronger
insurance.
roof system. Yes, they did. An insurance company without insurance, right?
So if it fell in, and what, you decided to rebuild it differently?
It still was under some insurance litigation, but yes, it would have to be rebuilt differently when it is done.
Yeah, because if you say, oh my goodness, this could happen again.
And two, every time something's rebuilt, you're building it to modern codes.
Right.
So that's always an improvement, there in the building process as you go back. Everything's, going to be up to date, current building standards and products. So you're getting a better, more than likely, you're getting a better quality product when this happens.
And the actual materials that you use, are they like, do people have requests? Like, I don't know, what's that? The yellow lumber that always is advertised, whatever that is.
Yellow wood?
Yeah.
I haven't had anyone specifically request yellow wood.
But you know what I'm talking about? There's an ad. I often wonder, why do they advertise that? I mean, who actually asks for it by name?
I guess it does happen.
Yeah,
I guess people would go into Lowe's or Home Depot and actually look for the sticker on it to see if they're getting the yellow wood.
Getting the yellow wood.
Yeah, but we've had people that request either not to use a certain product or to use a certain product, for the framing of the house. We've had some that request the entire house be framed with pressure-treated lumber.
If you go, have you been to Cedar Key lately? Like in the last few years, I guess. Okay.
Yes.
And you notice there's a lot of homes built they're one-story homes, but they're as tall as a two-story home. There's no
Yes.
first story. It's all stilts, I guess you call them, right? Well, I remember going over there. I don't remember seeing, well, maybe a few, but not as many as there are now. So somewhere along the way, they were getting flooded out a lot, and they said, well, from now on, we build these differently. I'm guessing it's along the same line of what we're talking about.
It is. Yeah, they do that to protect themselves, and probably can or cannot get flood insurance based on how it's constructed as well. Probably has something to do with that. If you have a single-story home built on the slab on the ground, and it's in an area that's prone for tidal surges or high tide,
Yeah, right.
yeah, it might be more difficult
Right.
Or impossible.
or impossible.
Now we've had a pretty mild winter compared to the Northeast, especially, and even the Midwest. They've had their share of stuff too. So I'm just knock on wood. We're not going to get like the reverse kind of a summer. Like they've got the good summer, we get the bad summer.
Well, we're going into the rainy season now.
Yeah.
The into the spring, so we're liable to get lots of rain, and that's where talking about storm damage, like we were talking there briefly this morning. Whenever you get lots of rain, that loosens the soil up, and then you get a gust of wind, and that'll push trees over. So it's very common for trees to fall on homes in the springtime, in the rainy season. So that's something. It's always good to have your trees go through and have them checked to make sure they're in good health.
Right.
Make sure that the dead limbs are cut out of them, or dead trees are taken down, because those are if a breeze does come up, a dead tree is going to come over.
Yeah. Or we don't get it very often, but it could be an ice-covered tree. That's a huge amount of weights hanging on that tree.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah, we shouldn't have too much problem with ice, but.
No, the palm trees that we have in there, like this one over here, right outside the studio. I remember when we had the hurricanes, I was thinking, okay, that's coming down, but it never did. I mean, they must be really strong.
Yeah,
Palm trees are very strong.
They just don't come down as easy.
They don't have a lot of extra weight. If you notice, there's no extra limbs that are stretching out. It's just the weight of the fronds. Is really the only thing they have, and they're very fibrous. If you ever see one that's been cut down or taken down.
Is there a tree more likely to fall, like the scrub oak? Does that fall more likely than the palm tree, let's say?
Scrub oak, not so much. Water oak.
Water oak.
Water oaks are probably the number one
and pine trees
in this area. Yeah, pine trees too. Water oaks typically, the older they get, they start to hollow out, or to get rotten in the middle. And
so is that part of what you do? Like, let's say a tree fell, and they've got other trees on the property. I mean, you're there to help out. So do you also look around and say, "We're going to fix it, but you got another one ready to fall"?
Yeah, that's definitely could be a service. If you see a potential problem that's going to happen, they just had one fall, they definitely bring that to their attention. The tree service that we would get out there, where they would already be there, they would do the same thing, and always looking out for the potential of trouble down the line. And it's the same type of thing with water leaks. If one fixture breaks, or a valve, we check all the valves and see if there's something else maybe that looks like it's about to go.
Is there a trade magazine for what you do? I mean, there's trade magazines for radio and everything.
Yeah,
else?
there's restoration magazines.
Well, that's got to be fascinating.
They are interesting.
And what is it called? Damage control?
Restoration Insider. Yeah, there's a couple different ones.
Really?
But they pretty much, if you search for restoration, you'll find a lot of different ones.
And so the stories that we would read in there are similar to what you tell us here.
Could be.
A lot of trade secrets, dealing with insurance companies, agents, adjusters.
Trade secrets?
Sure.
Well,
but only the ones that we're willing to share.
What are they?
These are like you said, these are different ones as far as maybe a new product that's come out, or a new way to do something as far as a restoration type process. So.
Oh, really?
You staying up on top of the up and coming technology.
So what are some trade secrets? By the way, there was an article online. It was, I guess you call it an article, and it was. Do you know the 3D printers that they have out now, where it literally will make an item out of plastic?
I've heard about that. Yeah.
Okay. There's a guy, and I know you're gonna think this is crazy, but look it up. He's gonna build an entire house with a 3D printer.
I've heard about that.
You did?
I did.
So this could be the technology that you guys use. I mean, if you have, although I don't know why that would be beneficial to just buying bricks. But I mean, instead of buying bricks, you would manufacture your bricks right there on the site.
That's right. Use whatever material it is you're going to build out of, and the printer, it's incredible. I'd like to see it done. It builds the building out of.
Have you seen the videos of them?
I've watched one briefly. I was on an iPhone, so
what
it wasn't
did they
very
make?
detailed.
Oh, they made a
It
wrench?
was a small. Yeah, it was something small. It was about 8 by 8, like some kind of a case for equipment.
Okay.
Just showing how it builds, and it builds it from the bottom up, and it ends up
Joe's looking at you.
spraying
You haven't
plastic
seen these.
together, and it's finished. And
You
you're
haven't
I
done.
have no clue what you guys are talking about.
I will. I
so-
will
It's pretty
post
wild.
it. I will post it for you on your Facebook.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it's a printer that.
Oh yeah.
And it's $50 for a cartridge of plastic beads,
Mm-hmm.
and then it makes 15 copies of whatever you're making.
Yeah, it has to be small.
5 by 5 by 5. Yeah.
Yeah.
Little tiny things, but that's the cheap one. That's the big one for the house.
Yeah.
And the guy's making a house out of it.
It's set up on an intricate scaffold system, and it has the runners that run on XYZ axis and planes, and they can turn. And yeah, it can make corners. They can make radius things out of plastic or whatever material that you could get into a bead form, like you're saying, and have it sprayed and then it dries. They say concrete. They even can do concrete. It'll like shoot it around. You can make it in radius and window openings and everything, and it's done. It's incredible.
This the city of the future.
Yeah.
Modern technology.
The city of the future, by the way, has levitation devices between the floors. I was reading that.
Wow.
So that
Okay.
the yeah. Well, no, I was reading this thing that there's a way to have like a magnetic kind of a force, and so then there's no floor that is supporting anything above it. Every floor is kind of supported. I don't know.
Huh.
I'm getting it wrong. Your job is cut out for you in the future. When a tree falls into one of them,
Yeah, all it might do is just shift them around. Just slide them over a little bit, and you just move it back.
if you have a question, by the way, there's a prize at the end of this. There's a carrot at the end of the stick here.
Two dinner tickets to Sonny's.
dinner
Sonny's
tickets.
Barbecue.
And what do you get? Just any food in there?
I guess it's for dinner.
Any dinner item, I suppose.
Any dinner item? Okay.
Yep, she was gonna. I got to get them later on today.
Oh, you
And
don't have them
I'm
yet.
gonna get
So we
them
can't
and
read
mail
them.
them off. Mail
Okay.
them off to whoever wins.
So if you call in with a question to Joe and Rob, and it's a damage control related question,
Mhm.
then you get 2 tickets to go eat.
That's right. You need
Barbecue.
to qualify the question. That's right. Damage control related question.
Not about plastic building
That's right.
with a printer.
Printing a building.
The idea that we're entering into spring right now, does that mean that your work is lesser or more? Does it increase as we get into the next season?
Pretty much stays about
Stays
the
the same?
same. I mean, we've got a variety of different damage that we're working on right now. We've got 2 new construction projects, 1 new construction project, 1 new construction project from a fire that we're working on.
That's the one in Denellen?
The one in Denellen,
Uh-huh.
yeah, the Jiffy store, the Be Quick convenience store, and
Be
then
Quick
we've
Food
got
Mart.
the Be Quick
Food Mart.
Food Mart.
Yep.
Then we've got a couple a mold job that we just finished up, and they've yesterday found out they've got another water leak.
Mm.
So we're working on that one, and a couple other floods that we've got going right now. So
Really?
as far as the repairs, and I've got one with it's a shower, working with the homeowners on it. It's a leak in their shower has created some damage. So
Well, that's not good. That could
No.
fall through the floor, or has it got a concrete bottom? to it?
it's concrete bottom,
Okay.
single story home, but the tiles starting to fall off the walls. You know, it's gotten that wet. So
You know, the pictures that were being, I guess, posted online that I saw from the snowstorm. I mean, some of the pictures showed trees literally coming through, like looking from the inside, like in the living room. There's a branch coming into the living room. I mean, they're just falling right down, and it's just amazing what they're going through. And
yeah, we've had several jobs just like that. No snow though.
so, what do you do in the meantime? Like, do you remove the tree like right away, or do you put some kind of tarp over it?
It really depends on the situation. We will, if we get the phone call for something like that, we're calling a tree company and getting them out there immediately
Right
to
away.
get this off. If we can't get someone there to get the tree off, and if a lot of times this happens when it's still raining, so we have tarped in the entire tree and home
Right,
just
right.
to keep more water from coming in. So our job is to minimize the damage. So the faster we can get the tree off and get it tarped in or get it temporarily dry, that's our goal. So if that means putting a tarp
Right.
on before we get the tree off, or combination of things, whatever it takes in order to minimize the damage.
Do you know what I imagine? A lot of listeners who hear this program have something happen like after they've heard the program, not right after, but in other words, they become familiar with you too and what you do, and Mike, the invisible partner, who I know I've never seen Mike. I don't think, have I? Has Mike been in here?
I think he's been in.
I saw him on the side of your car. I saw the 3 photos.
Yeah, Mike's on the side of my car.
He's been in here. He's done a show.
But I'm guessing that you have listeners who, all of a sudden, it applies to them, and in their mind they go, "Oh my goodness, I never thought I'd have to call these guys, but now I have to."
Yeah, we often tell people, whenever we give them a business card, we hope we never have to get a phone call from you.
I would think, yeah.
So, I mean, I don't want to have to do work for you, but we want to be there if something does ever happen. And if you or a neighbor or a loved one, if someone that you care about has this happen, that way you have somebody that you can call, somebody to work with you through the process.
Have you ever had any odd coincidences? We were talking about coincidences yesterday, and for example, and this happened. There was a guy who was in a car accident, and his wife broke her leg, and his brother the next day had a car accident, and his wife broke his leg.
Wow.
So have you had unfortunate, but
Well, I mean, we were just talking about the one with the mold situation.
Right.
We were working there. They thought they had a water leak. Never found a water leak, but it was a mold. They had mold in the home. We got everything repaired, everything cleaned up. And yesterday, I think it was yesterday, found where the shower is leaking. So if we wouldn't have been there looking, checking things over, it probably would have created another mold problem. But just so happens that we just finished up a huge remediation project for them, a whole condo full of mold, and now they have something else. So we've had instances like that. We've had one client I can think of.
We've had 3 I can think of that have called us for different reasons, more than once.
Multiple jobs for the same client.
Yeah.
Isn't that interesting? At my mom's house, there's a hardwood floor that was added later. It was it was a nice looking hardwood floor, but it goes up against the bathroom door, which there's no more hardwood into the bathroom. And I've often thought if that toilet ever overflowed, that water would go under that wood, especially since knowing you guys. And what the heck would I do? I mean, how would I get that water? How would I know that it was not still wet in there?
You would call 352-622-5135.
Okay.
Damage control services.
So
ask for Joe or Rob.
So let's so let's look at this for a second now. The toilet overflows, which knock on wood, it hasn't happened. I don't want that coincidence.
Hope it doesn't happen.
Yeah.
And I say, oh my goodness, it's up against the wood. It must have gone under the wood. Just call you right away. Just say, hey,
There you go.
it's probably nothing to look at, but what do? You lift it up and blow dry it, or what do you do?
Well, if there was
How
water,
is that fastened anyway?
if there was water in the home, more than likely you've got water either under the walls or somewhere. Water has gone that you can't get to. So the first thing that you need to do is to get the home dried out. Well, that would include getting a dehumidifier, probably in a small situation like that, probably one dehumidifier and a couple fans just to circulate the air and to make sure that everything was dried out. But we also have, different types of
What's that?
moisture
meters?
Moisture
you're talking about?
meters,
Okay.
yeah.
That was
Moisture
what we were
meters.
Think of the word.
Moisture
So we
meters.
can, moisture meters. So we can check different structures to make sure, find out if they have been, if they have gotten wet. Either using a pin meter that probes the surface to check, and then there's one that works just on the surface. So depending on what has gotten wet and where, we can check it to see if it's wet.
Valentine's Day is in 2 days. We talk about ways this morning that women will maybe interest a guy. Okay, so one of the suggestions was if you're dating, I know you're wondering where this is going, right?
Yeah.
If you're dating, it suggests that the lady get some glow-in-the-dark paint and paint a sexy little message on his lampshade. Then, after he says goodnight and you go home, he's going to go to bed, turn off the light, and that's going to be glowing with your little message.
Nice.
Now, I thought, well, that ruins the lampshade.
Right. Yeah. Especially if they break up.
I just thought I would share that with you.
That would be damage.
Yeah.
It's damage.
Yeah.
Damage control. Well, the real damage happens when the wife comes home and says, who the heck wrote that on there?
Very good. Yeah.
I knew there was a joke there somewhere. It just took me forever to get to it.
Yeah.
It was a mess.
All right. We have 2 tickets to Sonny's Barbecue, and Joe is going to give them away if you call and ask a question.
Sure will.
And if you have a toilet overflowing underneath your wooden floor, you would call Damage Control Services, and they'll come out. And how is it attached? I mean, is it glued to the concrete?
There's different ways of attaching it.
I always wondered.
Some is glued, and some is what they call a floating floor, which locks together with a locking mechanism and lays over a foam pad. So that literally is a floating floor.
They might have that.
Yeah, there's no telling.
It looks like it locks together. I mean, it's really nice. I remember going over there when they first had it done, and I thought, wow, how does...
Well, the glued-down floors, they lock together in some way as well. But, I mean, they are, like I said, they're fastened pretty tightly to the floor.
And would you... Let's say it was damaged.
Okay, it's damaged.
Say it.
Do you have to replace the whole floor, or can you actually take out the pieces?
It really depends. If it's still... depends what kind it is and how it's put together. If you're able to tie it back in together, we may just be able to replace part of it. It also depends on how old it is, how much wear there is, because if you're putting the new pieces with something that's been there a while, and it's going to show up. So.
And there's the traditional style wood floors, which are 3/4 inch thick floor that's nailed down, sanded, stained, and varnished. Those pieces can be taken up, and then an area or a room can be refinished and be saved that way. But sometimes, like Joe was saying, floors can be damaged to the point of having wear traffic, or the flooring could be discontinued. We've come across that a lot.
Discontinued too, yeah.
Engineered laminate flooring will just have the color will be discontinued.
Yeah, and we talk a lot about the damage to the wall or the roof, but usually there's electricity going through there. Usually there's there could be plumbing or maybe duct work, so all of that must play a role. Or glass. There's a window sometimes that gets damaged.
Yeah, all those things you mentioned, they're all factors. I mean, I was trying to think of a damage we've had, roof damage recently, where there wasn't something affected like you're talking about. Usually there is a electric going through, and it'll break the lines loose from the lights that it's running to, or it'll snap it in half.
Yeah,
plumbing lines will be running through. Yeah, we've had.
So it's basically teamwork. I mean, you guys get together with electricians and plumbers, and
that's right,
and make it all back to normal, right?
That's right.
There's a phone. Is it for you?
It's not my phone.
It's not my phone. No.
Rob's phone.
But it could be somebody wanting to get those 2 tickets to Sonny's.
Could be. It looks like I might be going to Sonny's.
Well, not bad. Not a bad idea.
Hey, I'm ready to go.
You went there for breakfast.
I'll go again. Sonny's is yummy.
Yeah.
The only other thing I think I wanted to ask you is about if let's say the damage is simply a window. I mean, the kid next door threw a baseball and it went through the window. Does that merit a call to Damage Control Services, or do we go to a different service for that?
That's a good question. I guess we could.
You could fix a window.
We would just refer to a window company. We have a few that we work with, whether it's Manning Building Supplies or Central Florida Window.
And insurance pays for that, right?
I guess it would depend on how the homeowner wants to go with that. If they want to use their deductible, and if it's that expensive.
And right under the wire, we get a phone call. Good morning. You're on the air with Joe and Rob.
Yeah, I've got a question for the guys.
All right.
Is mold that you find in your bathroom and it goes up your wall, is that usually covered by your homeowner's insurance?
Well, mold in the bathroom, it'd have to be determined if it was due to structural or a leak of some sort, whether it's a pipe or plumbing leak.
Let's say that the base on the shower is kind of old and the water seeps out of the base of the shower.
A lot of times, upon further inspection, I can't say with your case, if you're speaking of yours or not, but an adjuster, a lot of times when we see that happen, they deem that just to be maintenance on a home.
Oh, okay.
And they generally will not cover maintenance.
All right,
issues.
well, that's not the answer I wanted to hear.
I know. But then again, we don't know your specific situation. There could be other things happening, but if it's just a surface type mold and it looks obvious that the grout is failing or it's coming from around the bottom of the base, that's just a guess.
Yeah, it's actually kind of leaking up the wall and the tiles are coming loose.
Is it old? I mean, is it an old shower?
It's 20 plus years old.
Okay, and nothing's been done maintenance-wise to...
Nope.
Okay. Well, I mean, we could take a look at it, but it sounds like that's probably the route the insurance company would go.
All right, well, I'll have to give you all a call, and we'll get a final decision on it.
I need you to call me later also, and you can get these tickets for dinner at Sonny's.
Hey, that sounds like a plan, too.
And where does he call? What number?
Call my number. Give me a little bit here after the show. Call 817-6574.
I'll do it.
Excellent. What was your name?
My name is Rick.
Rick, thanks for calling.
Thank you, Rick.
Bye now.
Right, there you go. Another happy customer, except he didn't like the news you gave him.
Way to go, Rob.
Well, that's potential. I'm sorry. I mean, I'm sorry to be the harbinger of bad news, but that's a possibility. That's mostly what we see in that case.
Well, thanks, guys. Always a fun show. Always informative. Learn a little bit each time, and don't know how you keep up with all of it. Sounds like your plate is full when you get one of those phone calls.
Pretty much.
A lot of stuff to think about.
Thanks for having us on today.
Thank you, Joe. Thank you, Rob. We'll take a little break and be right back.
Ocala's information station, 1370 WOCA. Ocala!
ABC News Now. I'm Daniela Bellotta. During his State of the Union address tonight, President Obama may make many military families very happy. He's expected to announce